Yo, people, welcome back to Football Carnage. Welcome back to another Premier League Carnage where we will be going through all the talking points of the weekend's action. Luckily, or thankfully, we haven't got a Monday night game to talk about. I don't know about you guys. I'm not really a fan of Monday night games. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I like the weekend to be just concise, packed, all the action over a couple of days. Monday, you're always looking at your FPL if you're playing FPL and you still got players to play and substitutions to be made. But you're all very welcome. You already know the house rules. Come on. When you walk into someone's house, you abide by their rules. And one of our rules, or the only rule on entering our house, and you're all very welcome, is like the stream. Usually Mo is the king of asking for likes. Usually his demeanor and the way he requests likes is like no one else. But forgive me for getting there first. Smash the like, subscribe if you haven't, before we get into everything else. Mo, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm excited, to be honest, because there's a lot of talking points, and I know you want to start right away, Chris. So, but welcome everybody. You know what it is. You like the video? It's underneath your live chat. If you're chatting right now, just close it, hit that like button. I want to see the counter go up, and then come back and chat to us.
Simple, simple, simple. Michael, you already got the super chat of the day so far straight away. It says Michael De, David De Gea says, hold that. Any response? And hello, how are you as well? How's that for a hello, how are you?
Oh, you know what? Fair enough. I did say he was really good yesterday. He saved us in the first half. So you know what? Fair enough. I need more of that this upcoming week though, because this upcoming week is two must-win games. So I'm locked in for war this week.
Dennis the Great says, big up Grizz. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. I'm not sure if Liverpool fans overall are looking forward to tomorrow. I think it's going to be a tense game. But we'll address that tomorrow, I guess. Today's all about the Premier League. And of course, the leaders of the Premier League are right there in the form of Bilal. Behind him, the Emirates. The sun is shining on the Emirates. It looked like Lady Luck, possibly, maybe. We'll get into it. Shown on you on Saturday afternoon. And then later on in the afternoon, the icing on the cake, so to speak, with the Forest result. How are you feeling today after last week?
Yeah, no, it's been mad. I've watched that game highlights I don't know how many times. I watched the bench cam that came out before we came on, and it's just like the game was just like a movie. Like you could not script what happened. That ending was crazy. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's one of those moments where if we win the league, right, we're going to be watching that game and looking back at that moment.
I described it as our Sadio Mane moment. Man United will remember the Makeda goal. We remember the Sadio Mane against Villa as well. Similar, same end, last second. These kind of things, if you go on to win things, become iconic and legendary, and you never forget about them. But there's a long way to go, and you already know that, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. Because I remember when Welbeck scored against Leicester, 2-1 last minute. We're like, we thought we won the league then. Didn't happen. But this time, it does feel very different. So hopefully, that's a catalyst for this next run of games. And we seem to have a decent run of games on paper. And I say on paper, I stress on paper, because Everton, Brentford, all of that, well, that was on paper as well. Yeah, it seemed decent fixtures, but we know how they turned out. But yeah, the next few games seem like we can go on a bit of a run. And Man City, I'm looking at their fixtures, not looking that easy from what I can see. I think they've got Newcastle, Liverpool at a certain point.
To be honest with you guys, I've stopped looking at fixtures. I don't know about you guys, but this league, this season, it's not about trying to plan ahead. It's literally looking at your next game, because everyone's beating everyone.
Yeah.
Like even the mid-table clash, guys, and I know it's not the top of our topics, but even Brighton home to, who was it?
Fulham.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like we all thought Brighton are going to blow away Fulham. Things like that. Wolves,
Bournemouth.
Brentford, Palace, all of this.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, this league's just mad. I'm not going to lie. Everton obviously beating Leeds. That was another result where, well, if you're Leeds, you're feeling a bit uncertain. But then you see Southampton beat Chelsea. They're still bottom of the league, but you never know. West Ham, with the riches that they spent this season, still
We may get into West Ham and Spurs because obviously that's one of the games we may talk about. Yo, what's good? Sending a super chat says, Grizz, we are finished. How are you feeling? I'm here, bro. I'm not feeling great, but that's got nothing to do with the FSG statement. You know, I don't know if you guys read the news or heard the news. There's been another earthquake in Turkey and Syria. And that's at the top of my head. I read Twitter this afternoon, and my God, the Liverpool fan base is slaughtering each other, cursing each other, smashing each other, threatening each other. When I see you at a game, or I'm going to lose your account, I'm going to do this, and you're just a this and that. And then you read some of the stuff that we're reading about real life tragedies, real life heartache, real lives being lost, real parents losing children, real children becoming orphans. And then think to yourself, get the fuck out of here with your discussion about billionaires buying billionaire clubs and billionaires losing money. Get the fuck out of my system, man, because this is what's on top of my head. So first and foremost, all prayers, massive prayers. Hell on earth for that region right now. Hell on earth.
It's so bad. Honestly, some of the because I've obviously had an interest and followed that region for many reasons. Obviously, I'm a Muslim, so I'm interested in that side of the world. It's a big part of our minds and our consciousness, that region of the world. And some of the people that I've been following for years who have been doing work in areas, especially northern Syria, southern Turkey. A lot of the refugees have had to concentrate in that area. It's not been good already. And then you hear this news about the earthquake. And then when the earthquake did happen, our experts in terms of the earthquake were saying, listen, for the next 3 to 4 weeks, there might be even more earthquakes, tremors and stuff like that. So it's not the end of the story. It's not like a one and done kind of thing. And that's what makes it just really tough. So if you can donate to any charities, if you know anyone on the ground, try and do something.
Well, Shane says, Grizz, do you know any charity that accept donations? I will be asking Bill out, or I'll try to do it myself as well. I'll put a link in that I know guys, that my own personal friends that have gone to the front line. So I trust them like my own family, my own people. It's not a charity. So it is a charity, but I know their front line and what they're doing and the effort they're putting in. So I'll put that link in the description, Shane. Thank you very much for that. Then you got people like this. Then why do this show? It's embarrassing comments people make like that. Like what are you supposed to do? Does life not go on? Can you not do 2, 3, 4 things at the same time? Can you not show your respect? Can you not make awareness? So this show can also be a made awareness of the issues and the tragedies and charities. Guys, I'm not one to take stupid comments and antagonizing comments. So if you're going to make those kind of comments, get the fuck out of my stream. I don't need people like you in here. I don't even need your support or anything. Get out of here. The rest of you, welcome to the stream. As I said, had to start off on that note because it's a serious real life issue. But as I said, we pray life goes on. Yeah. Even that statement, life goes on, is it's just a thing, innit? Life goes on. For fuck's sake, thousands and thousands of people's lives don't go on. They don't go on. So we pray and we hope that lives go on. Let's get back to sort of far less important stuff, but still important to sort of some people. We must address the Liverpool situation. Liverpool Football Club, David Ornstein broke the news around November time, December time, that in his opinion, or according to the research and he had done, Liverpool were for sale, or Liverpool was sale for minority investment. Today, John Henry, Liverpool fans have been asking for clarity. Let us know what's going on because there's so many mixed reports. Today, John Henry speaking to the Boston Globe, which is his newspaper he owns. I'm not 100% sure if it was his newspaper. If you could go down to spoke to the Boston Globe. There you go. has effectively ruled out the full sale of a club, James Pearce reports from The Athletic, speaking to Boston Sports Journal, which is his paper. I know where there's been a lot of conversation and quotes by LFC, but I keep to the facts. We merely formalized an ongoing process. So he hasn't denied that there was a process. Now, people need to establish facts from hearsay. So there was a process formalized, like he suggests and like he says. And then he goes on to say, we'll be in England forever? No. Are we selling? No. Are we talking with investors about LFC? Yes. Will something happen? I believe so, but it won't be a sale. Have we sold anything in the last 20 plus years? And if you go down below, The Athletic revealed in November that they were willing to sell if they got an attractive offer. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley were tested, sounding out interest. However, 3 months on, The Athletic believes no such offer has been forthcoming and has been increasingly clear selling a small stake in the club was the most likely outcome. Senior FSG sources dismissed speculation in mid-January that they were on the brink of selling to a Qatari consortium. Is there anything else worth talking about? I think that's the meat of it.
Yeah, that's pretty much
so that's the meat of it. So look, as far as the owner is concerned, and we have to take him on face value, it's his club, it's his asset, he owns it. He doesn't believe, or he doesn't envisage an offer coming in that will make him sell the club. That's where we stand. He absolutely understands that this club and their working model needs to change. Well, maybe he doesn't, but I'm going to make my opinion very clear, guys. I absolutely adamant that FSG's current working model is not right for Liverpool. We won't be able to keep up the pace with Man United's, the Arsenal's, the Man City's. Their working model has to change. I think the owners believe that, hence why they're looking for serious investment. And so people are saying we're doomed and we're finished. We will be if we don't adapt and we don't change. We will be. When I say finished, we will be finished competing at the highest level, in my opinion. But if we get the investment that is needed and they adapt to the new working environment that we're finding in football and football clubs at the highest level, then I don't think we're finished. Then I still think we can go again. But at this stage, none of us know what the future holds until the summer comes round and until there is notice of investment that will probably be investors that will lead to an eventual sale. Just a super chat before I get your guys' opinion on it. Dan Watson says, Grizz, as a Man United fan, I can't help think, but this is part of the Glazer strategy as well. But I do think MU for sale has a big impact on Paul Sell. I've said my thing as well on that as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Man United don't sell as well. Guys, your reaction or opinion from outside?
Couple of things. The first thing, I'm sorry, I just wanted to say something that it's actually in November when they released the statement, it clearly stated that they are looking for third-party investors and shareholders. It was clear. For some reason, most of the journalists took it and twisted it to they're looking for sale. And I was talking to someone in finance and said that something like this means they're looking for someone to come buy 40%, 30% of the club, put some money and buy a stake at the club. However, but the valuation of the club was at this level and no offers came for that. And it doesn't look like they were willing to lower their price. So they were looking for shareholders. I don't think it's doom and gloom for Liverpool, even if they don't sell the club, because we have seen Liverpool over the last 7 years being very competitive with the right investment in the good players, like selling Coutinho, buying Van Dijk, buying Alisson, getting Mo Salah. But you'll need to have the right structure. The right structure doesn't mean only the hierarchy. It means the coach, the assistant coach, the scouting people that do the work. If you do that, you can be successful. Liverpool went to 3 Champions League finals, right? Without that 200 million, without the 600 million that Chelsea are spending, or the 1 billion that Man United or Man City spend. It all depends on how the club is run from up to down, but also the manager you're getting. Jurgen Klopp was the right man. So I don't know why Liverpool, the meltdown on the internet is strange, Grizz.
Yeah, I've decided wisely to ignore that. I just come on my channel and talk to people. And if they want to listen and talk, fair enough. But I ain't getting engaged. I ain't engaging on Twitter. Mo, how did we get back on the perch? How did we do it? You just mentioned it. By getting the right structure, by spending cleverly and smartly. Now, the issue and the problem is there's three other clubs that have got huge investors and huge backing. So therefore, we have to adapt. There's absolutely no one, I think. Maybe there's one or two people in the fact 1 or 2% or 5%. No one I don't think there's a more than 5% majority in the Liverpool fan base that thinks FSG's existing working model is fine and we're good to go. We'll be fine. That's fucking deluded. We know we have to adapt. But Mo's given an example from an outsider. He doesn't support Liverpool, but he's seen, and even Michael and Bilal, you guys have seen how we've operated. We don't need 600 millions and 500 millions to get us back to the top. We've been crying out for 50 million to 100 million extra in a window. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, because someone asked me, what's your ideal scenario? And I said, FSG with money. And I said, if FSG invest, I'm so happy with the ownership. But they need to invest in the team, directly in the team. And I know, comments, have a field day. Go wild. Go mad. Get angry. Because I know it's a big if. But if we get investment in the team, it's not doom and gloom for me. If we don't, and they've waffled to us, and they've betrayed us, and they've lied to us, and then they don't do anything in the summer, they bring in, let's just say 1-2 players, I will openly and aggressively say so. I will openly, aggressively say so, that they absolutely conned us, frauds, all of the terminology that you're hearing, Mo, on Twitter, Cowboys, whatever, worse. I'm using the nice terminology. I will say that. But right now, I'm only interested in Madrid tomorrow and seeing if we can salvage this season. If they refuse, if they fail to spend what's required, and we know what's required, I'm not going to repeat myself. What's required is at least two to three midfielders and a centre back. If they don't deliver that, you guys are my witness. You guys are guests, contributors to my channel. I love you all. I'm telling you now, I will have one of these wild, angry fits. I will. But I haven't got the time and the energy to do things that are out of my control right now. These billionaires will sort themselves out. All I want them to do is sort out my club. That's my opinion on it. And I'm not going to keep speaking on it, because there's nothing we can do about it. But Mo's given his opinion very quickly. Bilal, Michael, how you seen it?
Well, from my point of view, right, I think you summed it up nicely, especially towards the end. If you're in a situation where you're looking at your squad and you're saying we just really need 2 to 3 midfielders, a centre back in, it doesn't need, a change of ownership when this FSG, for the most part,
it needs money.
It needs money, but it doesn't mean that FSG have done a bad job all these years, right? This has been, from what I can see, Liverpool's first proper down year since Klopp has come. So I understand some Liverpool fans would say, like, look at what's happening in Man United, potential Qatari ownership. I think that's maybe what is, affecting some Liverpool fans more than actually FSG staying. If there was no news about Qatar to Man United, I don't know if there would be this much of an issue. A lot of fans, I'd imagine, will say, listen, this season so far has been a bit difficult. Let's regroup and go in the summer. Let's see if they can invest in a couple midfielders, a centre-back, and then next season go again. Darwin Núñez signed for big money. In January, Cody Gakpo again signed for big money. Look at that front 5-6. It's quality, right? So, yeah, I don't know. For me, it's not the end of the world if I was a Liverpool fan, but I understand maybe because of the Qatari Man United news, why they feel agitated.
100%. There's no denying that. Michael, do you want to say something on it as well? Because your club is going through a similar situation. Your owners are different. They're shareholders. I think they care less probably about your club even. Do you know what I mean? So it's interesting to hear from a Man United person's take.
Yeah, first of all, I mean, originally when I saw the news, I laughed, obviously, because
Yeah.
that's a hater in me. But when I taking away the Man United bias, obviously the Glazers and FSG are two different things. Most
Totally
Liverpool,
different.
most
Totally
Liverpool
different.
fans, the FSG have been the owners that have you guys have seen the biggest success of your club. Before that, you were rotting in 8th and 7th consistently. The Glazers continuously take money at the club. FSG do not take money at the club, and I've also seen them in their American sports teams. Their franchises are also very successful. The Boston Red Sox are a premier baseball franchise. The Pittsburgh Penguins are a premier hockey franchise. So they know how to be owners, while the Glazers are just, I'm not going to say stuff about them personally, but Man United need to sell more because, first of all, our stadium is rotting. So we need a stadium development. Anfield does not need to get developed like that. We need our stadium development is going to cost about $2 billion. Glazers don't have that kind of money, and they can't afford to go into more loans because they already owe so many loans. We have debt. Liverpool don't have that kind of debt. So the Glazers are more pressured to sell because they have no other choice. FSG, like Grizz has continued to say, you just need investment. You need someone
on the pitch. We
Yeah,
need someone who's going to back Klopp. He's not been able to buy the players without having to sell certain players. So, this super chat's about what you was talking about. Shane McGee says, I hope investment is a consortium that leads to a majority investment. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Man United wanted 5-6 billion. We wanted around 4. Neither got that. There was a comment that I wanted to bring up because. Okay, so Dul Inco says, we've been hearing this since 2020. Then he goes through wherever. Those are the facts. Why would they suddenly spend now with the continue to sell? Because if they don't, the valuation of their club will go down, down, and down. That's the reason. And if you think that they're not smart enough to know that, then that's fine. My opinion is they've always done the bare minimum. I've said that. But that's what businessmen do. The smart businessmen try to extract the most by doing the least. That's business, right, guys? I don't know if you guys have got any family in business, whatever. That's business. Do the least, get the most. And that's what they've done. They're businessmen. Now, I think even they, and if they haven't, only they will fucking pay for it. Because businessmen hate losing money. Businessmen hate losing value. And if the value of the asset goes from 4 billion, if we suddenly become a fighting for top 6 club, the value of the club will go down, down, down. Club will go, players will leave, and we'll become a nothing club. So let's see.
Because I think if FSG were comfortable with the way that they're spending now, they wouldn't be looking for investment. That means that they know that they need to invest. Otherwise, like you said, the club valuation will go down, the revenue will start going down. Because you saw with us, our revenue 3 years ago was at top of the top. No club in the world will make more revenue than us. And now you're seeing us fall behind the likes of Liverpool, who caught up to us. Man City, even though that's shady. Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG have usurped us. So our valuation went down 5-6 years ago. Man United's price, we would get bought for $7 billion because we were still had the prestige in the sense of like more success recently. Now, the Qataris are going to look at our books soon and they're going to see that your revenue stinks, your sponsorships stink. Like Team Euro rescinded the contract within a year, so it's just what it is. But I think FSG, they've shown that they know how to hire the right people in a sense. Michael Edwards, that was a coup of a century because that led you to your era. And
I think, do you know what it is? To sum it up, I think you're right. I think FSG know how to get a club back to the top. FSG have no proof, and I have no proof if they can able to sustain a club at the top. Sustaining and getting there is two totally different things. Now it's time to either prove it or get out.
It's one thing to do it once, it's another thing to do it twice. And because now we've seen Julian Ward, I don't know if he's going to Ajax or there's
we don't know. There's rumors, but nothing confirmed yet.
Already, like the succession plan that was meant to take place is not taking place, right? So now they need to come up with another plan and try and rejig everything together. And now that's the real test. It's not really much to do with money. It's more to do with how they restructure everything.
Today we've been linked with the Frankfurt sporting director. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't know if one of you knows how to say it. He was former Leipzig sporting director as well. And we know Leipzig have got a few gems, bought a few gems. And we know Frankfurt are one of the underrated, would you say, teams in Europe, have done very well over the last 12 months. But let's get into the action. of course, there's only one place to start. I guess we start from the very top, guys.
Can we before we do that, can
Go
we
for
do
it.
something? Man United are, I think the deal is done. Majid Al Khalifi, the chief editor for Al Doha Stadium journal in Qatar, has actually said that in an interview in Arabic with an Egyptian interviewer. And it was within something called Al Majlis. I know I'm not sure if you guys know that. Al Majlis, which is a Qatari channel. It's very for the sheikhs and stuff. And he just went next to him. They had a phone and they recorded him actually saying that the deal is done. It hasn't been announced yet. This is not me saying it. This is this guy who is very well connected, who is the chief editor, one of the biggest journals in Qatar. It looks like it went through. It hasn't been announced yet, but it looks like it went through. And it will be announced in the next few days.
Interesting. I'd be amazed if
I don't
that's
think-
true.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's true.
I'll be amazed if that's true. I'll be shocked if it's true. If it is true, fair play. Good luck to Man United and fair play to that outlet that broke that news. Man United.
I think it's going to happen, you know. I think the Qataris are going to buy Man United. I think it's not too much smoke without fire, whatever the saying is. I think it's going to happen. I think the Qataris, if you look at their investment in England in general, right, I think they own like Heathrow, Harrods, and
These
have
are different
investments all
people.
over London.
See, the thing is, right?
But I know we say different people. But
No, do you know what it
Qatar
is?
like, it's
No, but
less
do you
than
know
a
what it is?
million actual Qataris who live there. They're all the same.
I get upset. No. I'm not gonna lie. I get upset. Yeah, and it's a very difficult, deep topic. When everyone just labels everyone as the same. The Qataris are buying. We don't ever say the English are buying.
Yeah, but the
We don't
English
ever
are
say
60
the
million.
Germans are
The
buying.
Qataris are
We
like
don't ever
two
say the
people.
Americans are buying. Everything else is always the company name.
Yeah.
I hate when they just name the country that's buying it.
But there is no company buying it. That's the
But
thing.
but the only way they're gonna get through it is by
Creating another company.
Either
They're just
creating another
creating it, but it's all
company.
the same people. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, but
It's
that
all the
doesn't.
same
yeah, but-
people.
I know, but that's the point. But we need to at least differentiate that because that's what creates xenophobia, guys. This is a deep.
Oh yeah, I
deep
see your
topic.
point. Absolutely, very,
Yeah,
very good
I would
point.
agree
Yeah?
with that if we
So
said
this
the
is a deep
Arabs are buying.
topic.
No,
I
I would
get
agree
it.
if we said the Arabs are buying, but we're saying the Qataris.
They say
Qatar
Arabs
is
as well,
it's a
but
little
it
country,
creates
it's a
xenophobia.
little
I
country,
agree.
city-state.
Yeah, I
kind of
agree.
thing, basically.
I agree that the working model is different in the Middle East, in the Arab world. Sorry, that essentially is the state.
In the Gulf area, because
Gulf
in,
area.
Yeah, Gulf, exactly.
in the Gulf area, this is very different because Sawiris is a shareholder, I think, in Fulham. He's half. That's his own company that has nothing to do with the Egyptian government. It has nothing to do with any other company. But for the Gulf, which is, if you know, the Saudis, the Kuwaitis, they have these investment groups from the sheikhs. They're all going through the crown, yes, but they are investment groups.
In
but
groups,
they
yeah.
all go under the crown because these are kingdoms. These are not republics.
Scott says this is probably going to be the last. Scott says FSG won't sell fully to Qatar or any state owned. The fans won't accept it. Qatari won't buy part. They won't control. So far, spot on. Glazers don't care about fans. They will sell to the devil for enough cash. Pretty much, probably as well. But you're absolutely right. I've said it from the start. FSG won't sell Qatar. What my argument was, there's 100% Qatari interest. That's what people are getting confused. I never once said Qatar buying Liverpool. I said there's 100% interest. I don't believe FSG will sell to Qatar, and I've been saying that nonstop. All the time I've been saying that they won't sell. They won't sell to Qatar, and I still don't believe they will sell to Qatar if anything was to happen. And
But
Qatar,
do you think the Glazers will, Grizz?
I don't know enough about the situation, but if you ask me to guess,
Yep.
no. If you ask me to guess right now, and it's a guess, it's not based on insight. With the Liverpool situation, there's certain things I can't reveal and I can't say, I can't open, and I can't show photos and whatnot, but I know meetings took place, etc., etc. But Qataris don't want minority. Man United, Liverpool insisted on minority. So that's the state of play. Mem Cray 8 says rival fans need to understand that our recent success has nothing to do with FSG. We all know titles are won by small margins, and we could have easily won and more created a dynasty if we spent 20% of what United had. There's nothing to say that's fact. I appreciate your support, and that's an opinion. But we don't know what could have happened, what would have happened. We can only deal with what has happened. That's the way I like to see it. We can all predict if we had spent 20 million on Fakir Moore or bought uh, Kanate earlier and didn't buy, this is hindsight and speculation. Wait, Grizz, do you think Jim is buying United? John Stewart says. My guess, I think Jim Ratcliffe will be part of the ownership of United going forward. That's my guess. Part of the ownership.
I will love it. I
think he will have. I think he will have something to do with it. I don't think Qatar is done or anything like that. But let's see. Guys, we must get into the game. Arsenal, I guess, to start. Where do you want to start?
It's up to you guys, man.
Well, let's talk. Well, let's talk about it. We won't go into games per se. We'll talk about the overall state of the situation. I'll start with Mo. I'll skip you because you're way too smiley. Mo, did we envisage this comeback from Arsenal? Be honest. After the defeat, going a goal down away to Villa, Emirates teams we know like to make it really solid and tight and boring. Did you see this after the first half? And where do you see this title race now?
No, there's two Arsenal teams. The first one is the leaky one that had too many chances, allowing the oppositions too many chances and way too much space. And the second one is a team that is fighting for their lives. They wanted the game back. And you won't win titles without some luck, and they were a little bit lucky. But at the end, I thought on the balance of the game, the best team won. And I'm not going to look at fixtures and stuff, but if that was the blip, these last 4 games, and Arsenal are back on track, it's good for them, because I've said it for this title race. Man City, they haven't won 3 games in a row since October, and there is no sign that they're going to do this now. I don't see any signs. So I think Arsenal are closer now.
They had to, Michael. They had to. They must, we said, come back with 3 points. But the manner they've done it in, it's the best way, right? In terms of motivation, rejuvenating young players, belief more than anything else, because none of those kids have been in a title race or close. All they've been is ridiculed last few years, right?
Yeah, I mean,
achievers, bottle jobs, whatever. That would have been massive for them.
Yeah, I think someone on Twitter said like winning that game in that manner was actually better than winning it like 4-0, just like slapping up Villa, because it shows like the grit and the mentality in the team to kind of have that fight after such a gruesome loss to Man City. So props to them. They got the win. I mean, obviously, like most said, a little lucky. I mean, that Jorginho goal is what it is. Zinchenko long range shot as well, but goal's a goal, and they got the job done in the end. And they did deserve to win. They were the better team, so fair enough to them.
Michael, Bilal, huge mood swing, even for someone as ultra positive as you.
Yeah, that was, listen, honestly, that, as I said, you can't write what happened. That was, I think, the energy that we needed, right? That was like, I don't know, that just lit a fuse. That is, I don't know, that moment was just great. You know, when the ball, when Jorginho hits the ball, I'm like, okay. Like in that split second, like, oh, what's happening? And then, boom, Martinez hits him and it's in. And you're just thinking, unbelievable scenes. And you know what's even funnier, like even at the time I was watching the game, because everything feels slow in those moments, right? And that counter attack when it went to Martinelli and it went in, and the camera, I don't know what it was, it panned to Arteta and you can see the celebrations. I don't know, just as I said, it just looked like a movie. It didn't seem real, but it happened. And it's one of those things that, I honestly feel it's going to kickstart our season. Hopefully we just keep on going on a run now, and then when Partey, Jesus, Smith Rowe's back now, hopefully gets back into the groove of things as well. When everyone's fully fit and we're still hopefully a few points above City, and we're still, going into the real crunch time in April, May, we've got the squad. I believe like we can really do it, man. So yeah, it was just a mad moment. And as I said, it just felt like a movie, to be honest.
What was to ensue, Mo, was even more of a movie, I'd say. Man City go to Forest knowing that Arsenal have won. Man City of seasons gone by, when we've been in this position, have just demoralized Liverpool fans week in, week out. I felt so angry, frustrated, sad. Nottingham Forest, they go away to Nottingham Forest, who've bought players left, right, and center like Chelsea as well. They take an early goal lead. They absolutely dominate the whole game, chance after chance after chance. And Forest equalize at the end there. What is this season? Can you make sense of that game? Does that epitomize the whole season, the way it's going? And how
No.
important do you think that would be? That
Actually, this was so different than the most of their games. Their XG this game exceeded the goals they scored. Actually, this game was way better than most of the games they played. The problem is,
good point.
Pep Guardiola is not going to step on the pitch and put the ball at the back of the net. This is the player's job. Pep Guardiola's job is to have the right tactics for the player to be in front of the goal and have chances. He did that, and they defended really well, but they allowed Forest 1 or 2 chances. And that was it. And I'm sorry, the players have to take responsibility at some point. They created plenty of chances to kill this game off, and it didn't happen. And that has not. Their season was so different than this game. This is something odd. I've never seen City like this. City normally they score 4 and their XG is like 3 or 2. But this game was like, what? Why you can't put the ball at the back of the net? I think it's just they were misfiring. Maybe they were thinking about the Champions League. I don't know. Maybe Arsenal winning earlier put pressure on them.
They're used to the pressure. They're used to the pressure.
Exactly. So how? So why, Grizz? Why they didn't put? Why the Haaland, the machine, 2 chances, double?
But it's not even the first time this time, Michael. You can always cater for the odd game. I don't know about their record. Bilal, can you get the table up and see? Let's see Man City's record. I think they've drawn about 4 or 5 games.
4 games, they don't lost 4.
When was the last time the likes of Liverpool and Man City had lost 4 and 6 games, 7 games this time of season? What is it? Is the gap closing, Michael, or are the top teams having an off season? How you see it?
It's interesting because you saw the chances that it fell to. Like Haaland, any other day he finishes that. We'll probably never see Haaland, but I think the Phil Foden, that looked like a player that was shot of confidence a little bit. And you saw it in the couple misses that he had. And I think Pep made a comment after that Mahrez is better than him. That's why he's not playing or something like that.
Oh,
I don't
shit.
know.
Did he say that?
Apparently. That's what someone in the comments said. So maybe he said that. I don't know. But I don't know. It's just with City, it's just something weird with them. Because you would assume after beating Arsenal, they're kicking on from there, especially against Forest. I know Forest have been good at home against other big 6, but it's Man City. But I don't know. It's just weird. It's just a weird city. It's a weird season for Man City. Every time they have a little momentum,
everyone,
especially them though, because every time they get momentum, they always falter, which is not something because you're used to them. Every time you won, they always won. But this season, every time Arsenal kind of step back up, it's Man City that always drop instead of vice versa. So it's just weird, to be honest.
Bilal, where was you? What was your mood? And what happened when that result came through to you? I want to find the final whistle went.
Yeah, you were messaging me first half, and you're telling me, "Yo, Forest are doing bits," and I'm like, "Sir, I'm not watching, but okay, I'll keep an eye on the live score."
I'm so happy that you big me up there. Thank you very much. I said, you know what? I'm telling you now, Nottingham Forest have got something for you.
You gave me a bit of hope, so I was just I had my eye on on my phone, little live score. But I wasn't watching, but then it hit last 10 minutes. I'm looking at it. I said, you know what? Let me turn this on.
That's the worst time to put on a Man City game. Trust us, that's the worst time to put on a Man City game.
I said it like this to myself. I said, I don't want to watch 90 minutes and hope Forest do something, but I can take 10 minutes of doing that. So I did it for 10 minutes. And you know what? It paid off. Chris Wood, man, my guy. Beautiful. I don't know who did the run. Was it Brendan Johnson? I can't remember who did that little amazing
White or
run.
Brendan Johnson?
Was it? Yeah, it was one of them. I can't remember. It was a crazy run, ball across the box. Chris Wood tucks it away. I think that was the only shot on target. And I didn't even realize because obviously I wasn't watching the game properly. I wanted to be emotionally, I was enjoying my win as well. I didn't want to ruin my day, right? So I'm just like, you know what? Let me see what's happening. I look in goal for Nottingham Forest, and I'm seeing Keylor Navas. I'm like, nah. We're holding on. That's what I said. We're holding on today. 1-1, and final whistle. Yeah, it's mad. Just a couple days ago, Arsenal was second. Doom and gloom. You're first for I don't know how many months. You lose that position. Just in a few days, everything just switches. And I honestly think, right, you know what Man City and Liverpool did the last few years, as impressive as it just wasn't normal at the same time. It's not it was freaks. There were two freak teams doing
I've
weird
said this.
stuff.
I've said this. People are going to realize in years that what Man City and Liverpool done for those 5 years was insane levels. They're not
Yeah,
normal.
it was abnormal. And honestly, and of course, I would say as well, from an Arsenal perspective, maybe from Man United perspective, the other clubs in the top six were never even that good. Like, there were poor teams. Like, if you've seen Arsenal's record against Man City, for example, like even the win the other day, I think that's 11 wins in a row against Arsenal. Arsenal for the last few years have not been a good team at all. Man United have not been a great team. Chelsea, as we know, in the league, they've not been great. But I think what's happened this season, right? Newcastle coming into the league has, really changed things. The likes of Brighton, Fulham, all of these teams are so tough to play against. Brentford, another team that's really tough to play against. And I think that whole top nine, you don't want to play any of them. That's a tough day. I think
It is a tough
any
day.
of them teams, any of those teams on any given day could probably get a result against each other. And I think that's the difference this season. And that's why we're seeing more twists and turns. And I think it's going to be like this, hopefully, for the
rest of the season. Yeah, for
rest of the season, for the rest of Premier League, for the next decade. I want to see something like this where every week is a battle. And that's why this league is, as entertaining as it is. And that's why it's got the most viewership in the world. That's a fact. And I think, this hopefully just keeps on going. But for me as an Arsenal fan, Man City keep on dropping them points, and we're gonna keep on hopefully getting our 3 points and just building a little something. But we're getting to Man United as well.
Well, we're gonna get into it now. Michael Bilal talks about sort of rough evenings and tough games. Everyone's ready to give you a tough game. Leicester City got nothing to play for. Middle of the table, Brendan Rodgers. That first half an hour was a lot of work for you guys. I don't know how you kept a clean sheet. I guess De Gea is the main reason, but the contrast in two halves is wild, is mad. Was you having kittens and thinking, what the fuck is this, man, in that first half? And then obviously you settled down in the second half.
Yeah, first, honestly, I wasn't surprised at all. Like, Leicester City have been good the last couple weeks. They scored 8 goals coming into that game in their last 2 games against Spurs and Villa. And we had no Casemiro, so I'm like, we're going to get cooked on the transition. And we ended up getting cooked on the transition right away. But De Gea did his job as a goalkeeper. Props in. Congrats, I love him for that in that first half. And he kept that half, kept a clean sheet. And then Rashford, which I'll talk about real quick later in like a minute. Then he got the goal. And then second half, I don't know what Ten Hag said in that locker room, but it must have been special because the way we came out in that second half was absolutely amazing. We put the press on, and that was a spectacle. And Marcus Rashford, this $500K a week contract. I don't care. Give him the keys to Manchester, the keys to Buckingham Palace, anything he wants, because this is absolutely amazing form.
Levels.
And that was the first. We have 3 finals this week. We had that was the first one because we're in a title race. We're 5 points away. We have to. I can't deny the allegations no more. They're starting to stick on us, so I can't deny it. It's time to go hunting. We're hunting for Arsenal now. That's what we have to do. Barcelona. That's the second final. Ten Hag said 12th man Old Trafford needs to step up, and obviously the final against Newcastle on Sunday. Obviously it is a final, so we must win. Obviously, thank you, Nick Pope. I appreciate your sabotage on Saturday. Loris Karius will be in goal. So if we lose to Loris Karius, you might not see me on the stream next Monday. I promise you that. I will be very depressed. But Man United, we're coming, man. Arsenal, man, we're 3 points behind Man City. We're 5 points behind Arsenal. Will we win the title? Probably not, but I want to fight for it and see what happens at the end come May.
How do you see it, Mo? How do you see the Man United charge? And we have to call it a charge. They're just quietly, they were quietly creeping up. Now it's no more quiet. Now they're loud.
I thought it was never quiet. I think after their first 2 games, they actually won most of the games at Old Trafford. The thing is, Arsenal and Man City were winning too. They were going away from them. And then now Arsenal had this blip for the last 3 games, and Man City are doing Man City thing this season. They're not consistent. The only consistent team in the league at the moment are Man United. It looks like it. When they dropped point against Arsenal, it was a last-minute goal, which is Arsenal at the Emirates. You're expected to do that. You're not expected to go to the Emirates and win. Not everybody is Man City. I think Man United, with Arsenal playing Man City soon at the Etihad, who says that Man United cannot be 3 points behind Arsenal? Nobody can say that. I think Man United now, their biggest asset is Erik ten Hag.
100.
They are creating chances and they are scoring goals. It's not Casemiro, as I saw. It's not Lisandro Martinez. It looks like, Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola in the last 4 years. It's a system that works with anybody on the pitch. And it looks like it's this way now. So hats off to Erik ten Hag, to be honest.
I'm interested in we'll do another show later on in the because I want to argue the point that the system and everything else, because I still think Rashford is making the difference.
I said this yesterday on Twitter, and I got cooked a little bit. I said he's covering over cracks a little bit because of his form.
I think so.
A little bit. Obviously, we were missing some players yesterday, and obviously short term he's covering cracks. Obviously, long term, Erik ten Hag's system, once he gets all his players, will be fantastic. But right now, Rashford's unbelievable form that no one expected that. I don't care if you were his biggest supporter. None of us were expecting Marcus Rashford to score in pretty much 15 out of 16 games. That's Mbappe, Ronaldo, Messi levels. So I think he's covering the cracks a little bit, but long may it continue. I don't really care as long as it gets me the results.
But the chances are being created for Man United, so that's the whole point. And
but you just can't see Sancho or Martial or Weghorst finishing those ones, Mo. Like
Martial is not there.
I actually fully forgot about that. He was part of Man
United. I haven't, trust me, because I see Weghorst can't run, so I haven't forgotten about Martial.
Honestly, I think he's in Sevilla still, man. You man are lying.
Let's crack on because I must round it up in a few minutes because I've got the big six to do as well. I guess Chelsea's debacle continues. Obviously, the Liverpool game we covered on RedFellas extensively last night. Magnificent show. If you haven't checked it out, Liverpool fans, go and check out RedFellas from last night. It was quite the show. We also done a preview to Madrid in the same show. The Chelsea debacle, call it what you want, the circus, the whole club, it's a mess. And we were in our rights to call it a mess weeks and weeks ago when we were like being asked, with being told we're bitter. Bilal, where's the light at the end of the tunnel for Chelsea?
You know what? I haven't got a clue anymore because I'm reading the Chelsea reports and they're saying that they want to give Potter time. And from what I gauge from the general Chelsea fan base, and even months ago, like Chelsea fans that I knew were telling me they don't think Potter's going to have the full season. And this was when I believe that, there was a bit of a project there. They're giving a long-term contract. But now the tide has turned completely against him. For me with Chelsea now, their media is talking about Arteta last season at Arsenal. There was a lot of pressure under him, and all of this sort of stuff. But, Arsenal never sacked him. But it's not the same situation.
It's not.
You've gone and spent nearly 700 million in like 2 windows. We need results, mate. We need results. You can't be losing to the Southampton twice in one season. Chelsea right now, I don't know where they're going. I don't know what the plan is. And I don't feel like, to be honest, right, as much as we thought Potter is a good manager, is he really at this level right now? Is this just too much for him? It's too many players. There was one clip I've seen on Twitter, it was going around, and you see the Chelsea players coming out of the tunnel, and it's just like they're going to a funeral or something. Like it's like they don't want to be there. They've just signed a bunch of players who've gone there simply for the money. You have to keep it real. None of them have gone there for footballing reasons, especially guys like Enzo Fernandez. He was at Benfica. Rui Costa telling him, listen, stay. In the summer, Real Madrid, Man City, all of these sort of teams will probably be after you. You can play Champions League football with Benfica. You never know what Benfica could do. But he kept on pushing for that move. Why? Because of the money. And I don't blame any player most players are working class, come from poor backgrounds. I don't blame anyone going for the money. But when all of your players are signing for this reason,
you got to look for a sporting project. Exactly.
Yeah. How is it going to work?
The hunger and desire isn't in these players, you can tell, and we don't know if it's going to continue. Mo, I want your opinion on the Spurs West Ham game. Well, it was one of the worst. I don't know if you watched it, Michael or Mo. It was one of the great shout. It was one of the worst games in that first half.
It, unfortunately.
It was unbelievably bad, and we expected it to be that bad, just like we predicted Tottenham Milan was going to be that bad. And guess what the coefficient is? Tottenham. What's going on? Conte. Every time Conte's not there, though, they win a game of football. Very briefly,
it's weird.
They're still in the fourth place, Mo.
inconsistent. The most inconsistent team. You don't know. Again, it's Chelsea. Next week they can lose 3-0 or they can win 1 or 2-0. It's just very strange, to be honest. They don't play good football. It looks like it's just, you know what? Let's hope that Harry Kane does something. Let's hope that let's pass to Harry Kane and hope that something happens. I don't see the Conte footprint that I saw at Chelsea, at Inter, at Juventus. I don't see that. And I don't know why this Tottenham team is still in the fourth place. It looks like everybody else is just bad. And that's it. It's as simple as that. It's shambolic football.
You're muted.
It's the most wildest of seasons. You're right, Mo. It's shambolic. How are Spurs fourth? It's beyond comprehension. We've been sitting here slaughtering Conte, their players. They look dead, yet they're fourth. It's unreal. It's unreal. Arsenal, 5-point lead with a game in hand. No, 2-point lead with a game in hand.
2-point lead with a game in hand, yeah.
2-point game with the lead, and that game in hand is against Everton at home. You'd think that's a 5-point lead in effect, but then Everton go and beat Leeds. Of course, you expect them to beat Leeds just about. It's a mad season. It's getting crazy and crazier the week goes by. We won't get crazy. We will stay sane. We will try to bring you Premier League Khanage at least once a week, depending on the fixtures. Again, a quick impromptu show. Of course, the Liverpool takeover or non-takeover news took the majority of it. Guys, thank you very much. Make sure you like and subscribe to the guys them as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm so close to 25k. I want to get to 25k before the end of the season. Hopefully, Madrid, Liverpool tomorrow will be, guys, I don't even know. Very quickly. I want quick predictions, quick fire predictions. I'm so nervous about tomorrow because they're the only team that I don't think give a shit about coming to Anfield.
No Tchouaméni, no Kroos though. So you never know.
What's your prediction?
I'll go 2-1. I'll go 2-1 Liverpool for the first leg.
Mo.
Same. 2-1 Liverpool.
I'm the same.
You think Liverpool, guys?
Yeah, no Tchouaméni, no Kroos. It's not looking good.
We got no Konate, no Thiago, no Jota, no Diaz.
Thiago hype. Now you look better without Thiago.
I will say one thing. Barcelona, top of the league. Manchester United took them to school and back at the Camp Nou. That's the level of La Liga right now.
Madrid are a different animal. Champions League, but we'll discuss it tomorrow, people. This has been Premier League Khanage. We out of here. Take care.